Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. My email is tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing a 2007 retailed Patek Philippe 5711R-001, a rose gold Patek Philippe Nautilus. This timepiece is 40 millimeters in diameter and by my measurements, only 8.7 millimeters thick, and if we want to measure end link to end link across the wrist, 49.3 millimeters. Of course, the 5711 launched in 2006. This 2007 model features the much sought Geneva hallmark movement. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's talk about the fit first. It wears like any 40 millimeter Nautilus on a leather strap. Now, they're not all situated on straps. It's an unconventional look for a watch originally designed for Bracelet in 1976, but it gives the watch a versatility and a warmth that you don't get on blazing steel or full gold bracelets. Taking a look at it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see it's narrow across the wrist. You can also see it's very flat. 8.7 is quite flush. And then I would also recommend, because it's not broad across the wrist, and you can well see that from overhead, this watch is suitable on a strap for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. So it does wear well on a small wrist, and it can be considered a unisex option. The watch wears easier on a small wrist on a strap than on a bracelet, because you can pull that strap straight down around a small wrist. The strap is tapered. It is dark brown with a brown stitch, large rectangular scale alligator leather, semi-gloss, folded edge but bolstered thickly to give it extra body and volume. And then you can see from the underside, it's calfskin on the underside, and this is a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap gaiter on the top, calf on the bottom, with a full red gold double deployment clasp that includes trigger actuation, so you have to press both triggers to pop it open. It cannot open by accident. It's not friction fit, and unlike the equivalent watch on a bracelet, it doesn't have a cheap, loose, flappy clamshell. This trigger system using the swing arms as the springs is very robust and inspires confidence. The watch features a screw-down crown, 120-meter water resistance, and the sophistication and detail we expect of a Nautilus case, which is to say, unlike the Aquanaut, for example, there are several different layers, case back, mid-case, and then bezel structure that all come together. There's also a lot more nuance in the finishing than the Aquanaut, as we have a blend of angles, curves, or creases and curves, as I like to say, as well as polished and satin elements, including a lovely transitional bevel on the shoulders of the case. The timepiece does include a standard Patek Philippe Calatrava crown and then a rounded off bezel. It's a rounded polygon, and unlike the Royal Oak, which has the polygon on the outside and then a circular dial and a circular sapphire inboard, the Nautilus takes the design language that Gerald Genta pioneered on the AP to the next level, because the inner bezel, the dial, and the sapphire have the same profile as the outer bezel. They all have that same rounded polygonal form. The dial has a gray gradient. It's relatively lighter at the center and darker at the edge, with rose gold hands and indices. Discrete printing. Patek does not overprint its corporate marquee up at 12 o'clock. It's fairly compact and understated. We have a center second application of the caliber 324. It does not have hacking seconds, but it does have a quick set date. And let's be honest, those of us who know Patek well already understand that there are ways you can stall the seconds hand if you wish to synchronize to a reference time. Of course, we do have that quick set date function. Should you encounter an irregular length month, you can easily cycle the date to quickly correct. Now, the watch includes a caliber 324. I spilled the beans a little bit. Screwed in case back, screw down crown, 120-meter water resistance. You can see the maker's mark. Patek makes both the movement and its own cases. It's a 29-jewel automatic winding movement with unidirectional winding action and a 45-hour power reserve. It's adjusted in 5 positions, and it has a Gyromax-style free-sprung balance beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's a thin, fine, and beautifully finished high horology movement using a combination of mechanical and manual finishing. My favorite facet of the finishing is that although the beveling is started mechanically, it is finished by hand, so rather than machined filing marks, you get a nice rounded bevel when all is done. There's engine turning at the center of the rotor on the click wheel adjacent, as well as on the base plate, with Côte de Genève across the bridges, beveling on the edge of the bridges. You can see the screw heads are all mirror polished with chamfered slots and screw head circumference. Then you can see the locating pegs that help to locate the bridges. They have also been black polished on their top. Altogether, it is a reliable, sturdy, very precise tractor movement that gives good service with minimal attention. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this rose gold Patek Philippe Nautilus.